feel like the quality of a film, like if you saw a trailer, for example, does it ever entice you into watching it?
Yeah. I mean, not always, but I mean, you know, because I mean, if you see a trailer for a film, I saw a trailer for a film that looked really good, and then I went and paid money for it, and it was bad.
Full advertising when it comes down to it.
Yeah. So, would you want me to say that this one looks better because it's...
Well, no, it's your own opinion, really. This one's a fan film which was made by a group of people online, posted online, and they literally tried to make it better or the same quality as the real film itself.
Well, I think they've succeeded.
Yeah, it doesn't have a horse.
That is true.
Couldn't afford a horse.
This guy's hair's darker. And it contrasts better with his eyes.
The quality.
Do you find the feel of the film, like, it literally just looking at the image, do you see there's any difference between them?
It's like Robert Carlyle.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, you can't really see what's going on in this one.
Of course,
there's horses in this, so you can sort of deduce that there's horses in this one. Whereas there might be horses in this one, but I can't see.
Fan-made version.
And this guy, you know, I don't know,
actually Robert
is that a
Carlyle.
sword he's holding or what? I think it's, you know, there's obviously more sword action.
Yeah, but one of the questions we're discussing is, does the quality or sophistication of the film really matter in terms of special effects and design?
Certain films, yeah, but other films not really.
Yeah. So you're not too bothered to talk about it, really?
Not really.
Alright. Well, we've got some pictures here. These are from a fan-based film and from the proper film itself. But can you see any difference there at all between the aesthetics of it or the look of design?
That's not bad quality.
Yeah. So you think it all looks the same in terms of all the clothing, the costumes and the setup?
Yes.
Yeah. Does the quality or sophistication of the film really matter in terms of special effects and design?
Well, it depends really. If they sacrifice like the storyline from like, you know, the effects and everything like that, then to be honest, I'd just rather have the storyline. You know? But if it's both, brilliant. Yeah. If it's got both.
Fantastic. Cool. And just also, do you believe the use of new technology, for example, the 3D craze, helps or hinders the experience when watching a film or TV show?
It can do. I think it in a way. Yeah. Yes, it does. It does. You know, help. But like, I mean, it's not completely necessary, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't need to be there, you know.
Awesome. And just one last thing, there's this photo as well with from one's from a fan made one and one from Lord of the Rings itself. I was wondering, can you see any differences at all?
Well, yeah, they're obviously two different characters. They're just two different people.
Yeah.
Completely. Playing the same.
In terms of style and presentation, can you see any differences?
Not lots. No, I think you know, it's very similar. I think they've done a very good job of it. You know, having the character. Yeah.
Cheers, thank you. Has the look or feel of the film ever enticed you into watching it? And if so, why was this?
By look, do you mean sort of
like the
from
visual
trailer
style?
or?
Yeah, it could be anything from a movie or from a trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I go to cinema a lot, and if I see a trailer I like, then I just go and watch the film basically. Or posters, if the poster's sort of eye-catching, I might go and see it. Yeah,
cool, cheers. And next one is, does the quality or sophistication of a film really matter in terms of special effects and design?
Well, I think it's at a stage now where, if you've got a big story or a big film that you're trying to produce, if the effects and that aren't up to scratch to say, you know, on a par with other films, then you'll be a bit disappointed, I think.
And last question, so do you believe the use of new technology, for example the 3D craze, help or hinder the experience of watching television or movies?
Yeah, I think it brought a lot of people to the cinemas really, 3D, and I've watched a few films of 3D recently, and they seem to have bigger audiences than films I've gone to see without 3D, so I'd say that it's helped, really.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. And last of all, just comparing these two images together, one's of a fan film and one's from an actual film itself, from Lord of the Rings. Can you see any differences at all in terms of visual style, unlike costume design or presentation?
Yeah, well, I obviously know that's the real one, but the sword looks a bit, I was saying his looks more authentic basically than the costumes here, but I think it's good. Well, I think that's a good representation of that character.
Yeah. Has the look or feel of a film ever enticed you? ever entice you into watching it? And if so, why was this?
Well, I'd say the one film that's really enticed me into watching it was James Cameron's Avatar. I think it was more just the hype surrounding it than really the quality of the film. Because I watched the film after viewing all these adverts and these posters that were up everywhere for virtually 6 months, and I thought, what a letdown. All that hype has just let it down in my eyes.
Yeah.
And in a lot of films I think that happens too. The hype gets bigger than the film, and then you end up with a
disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers. And then the second question, does the quality or sophistication of a film really matter in terms of special effects and design?
I think some films, yes, but if you're making a film that's sort of tongue-in-cheek and you're not actually putting 100% into it, I think a lot of it can come from the actors more than the special effects.
That's brilliant. And then final question then, do you believe the use of new technology, for example the 3D craze, help or hinder the experience of watching television or movies?
I've never seen a 3D film, so I'm not really going to comment on it, but as an idea I think it's just a fad, to be quite honest. I don't think it's something that's going to last. I just think it's something to pull in cinema goers at the end of, well, cinema's life, because nowadays when you can download movies illegally and things like that, many people don't go to the cinema.
No, that's great. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And one last thing, these are just comparison images.
Yep.
One's from a fan film and one's from the actual film itself, with Lord of the Rings. Can you see any differences in terms of like style, presentation, or design?
Well, I think the main difference is in the actor.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, not really. And you can clearly tell that prop sword is a bit subpar to what they would have been using in the film.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's no real stylistic differences from them pictures.
Has the look or feel of a film ever enticed you into watching it? And if so, why was this?
Do I answer now then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean by looking film? By the trailer, or
Just from its visual style, and maybe like from costume design as well, varying from all sorts.
Really, I just go for storyline, not how it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not how it looks doesn't really interest me. If it's a good plot, then yeah.
Awesome, cool. And so it doesn't really matter to you the quality or sophistication of a film in terms of special
yeah.
effects or design. Yeah.
It does. It really annoys me when they have special effects and they're really rubbish.
Yeah.
It just really frustrates me. And yeah, I mean, obviously people are a bit low on budget sometimes, but if you're going to do something, you've got to do it properly, otherwise people just get annoyed with it.
Exactly, yeah. And last question is, do you believe the use of new technology, for example the 3D craze, help or hinder the experience of watching television or movies?
For television, I think it's stupid. I mean, why? There's no point. I mean, but for films, it's alright to a certain extent. When it's a film that doesn't need to be in 3D, for example, Toy Story, it was fine in normal 2D. The first 2 films, and they had to bring it out in 3D only just to make more money, because people obviously got to buy the glasses and then pay extra because it's 3D. So it's all just getting money really, instead of making it a good film. It was a good film, to be fair. It just didn't need to be in 3D.
Need a gimmick at all.
No.
That's great, thank you. Well, last bit. We've got 2 pictures from both a proper film and a fan-based film. I was wondering if you could see any differences at all in terms of presentation or visual style.
Right, so
or
this is from
Lord of the Rings.
And this is from
a fan-made version of Lord of the Rings called The Hunt for Gollum.
Oh, right.
So I was wondering if you could see any differences in terms of its style or presentation or costume design, or so you can't see anything different at all about it.
No, it's fine.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
has the look or feel of the film ever enticed you into watching it, and if so, why was it?
Yes, I mean, I haven't actually seen it yet, but Watchmen.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer for that and I was just hooked. I still really, really want to see it, but it's just, the colours were just blazing and the imagination was so sort of vibrant that I really, really wanted to see it.
Awesome.
Just because it was so different.
Yeah. For example, the 3D craze help or hinder the experience of watching a television or movies?
It depends on the plot. So much. I mean, Avatar was a good movie, but only to look at. If you actually watched it again just for the plot, it would be terrible. But no, the story is what matters most to me.
Absolutely. Cool. And last of all, I've got 2 images here to compare from. One's from a fan-made film and one's from an actual film of Lord of the Rings. I was wondering if you could see any differences in terms of design or visual
The
presentation.
colour in that is much more vibrant, and I do like that. I actually watched a little bit of this fan film, so I know which is which.
Yeah.
The composition in that is really good with the horse's head.
Has the look or feel of the film ever enticed you into watching it? And if so, why was this?
No, I can't say I've ever been particularly drawn into anything. I know I just use Avatar example, but despite all the special effects, I was never really drawn into it. I don't particularly care. So.
That's right. Secondly, does the quality or sophistication of the film really matter in terms of special effects and design?
No, special effects weren't a major part of anything. If I were to watch it, I might as well prefer a lot of old films rather than watching new ones where we spend loads of special effects and make it a bit over the top. So.
Yeah, definitely cool. And last question, do you believe the use of new technology, for example the 3D craze, help or hinder the experience of watching television or movies?
Not so. I think it to be honest to drag it down, because the whole idea of everything in 3D does get ridiculous. So not everyone's going to afford to go out and spend 15 quid on a cinema ticket just to get a pair of glasses to come out with.
Yeah, exactly. That's great, thank you. And last of all, I've got two images here. One's from a fan-made film, and one's from an actual film as well, Lord of the Rings. So I was wondering if you could see any differences in terms of its design or visual presentation.
Visually very similar, and actually the actor himself is quite close, but actually knowing the films of that is the proper Lord of the Rings with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All round, for a fan-made one, that's worked quite nice actually.